tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Thank you for joining us today at Recovery TV. My guest today is Mr. Sam Knox. Quite the story to tell. But first of all, I want to tell you about Narcan. Everyone should carry it, should have it in your house, carry it in your car, your purse. Take it out at night, though, because of the weather. But everyone should have it. It saves lives. Sam Knox is my guest. Welcome, Sam, and thank you for joining us today.
John, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So I want to first start off and let my viewers know about Sam Knox and, unfortunately, the loss of your brother.
Yep. Yeah, so for me, I'm a sports reporter and anchor at Channel 12. And got into the business in 2020. Had to move out to Rockford, Illinois, and then was able to come back home. I'm originally from Sturbridge, Massachusetts, so now I'm local once again, which is great. Yeah, so my brother Nick passed away in September of 2023 after a battle of mental health, depression, and he turned to hard drugs, and unfortunately he passed away. And the Labor Day, I believe it was, yeah, September 3rd or 4th. I forget the exact day, but yeah, just really tough. Just a tough day for our family. It was a nightmare, but that's why we are here, and that's why we continue to spread the message and the awareness. And I'm happy that you showed the Narcan, because that's something that can save so many lives and important. So yeah, he was a great kid. He just battled it and went through a tough time with drugs and abuse and drug abuse, and unfortunately he just lost the battle. And but that's why we're here to finish it for him, to continue to spread the awareness and the message. So
you say he lost the battle.
Yeah.
How old was your brother?
24.
24.
Yep.
About how long was he battling the addiction issue?
So, I know that it started, he has a unique story. So it started when he was in high school, late middle school, high school is when the depression kind of started, and he turned to marijuana to start. And then, as the years went on and he went through college and got a job, very successful, great in the classroom. And he, it unfortunately got worse for him, and he started turning to harder things. And it ended up being, heroin laced with fentanyl, and that was unfortunately something that just gripped him. And I think that was what ended up sending him into rehab. But I think the most important thing about my brother that was so awesome of him to do is he checked himself into rehab. He didn't get told to go. So I think that's also something that we're so proud of, is he knew
he had a problem.
He had a problem, and he did it himself, which is something that we're all so proud of. And he did it. He went to Florida first for a few weeks, and then went out to California. So he was months clean. He went out in April and came back for a weekend in September, and unfortunately that was it. So it was just came back, and he was around it again, and that's what did it in, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, he was 24, right? Successful, as you indicated. Yeah. When people, I deal with it all the time, people don't want to check themselves in most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time they got to hit rock bottom in order to make that phone call.
Yep.
He was different.
Yeah.
He was probably different in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
What about your family?
Yeah, they knew, I think, part of the problem, and what was going on. Obviously, he kind of kept it a little private, but they knew that some stuff was going on. They did have Narcan in the house, and they were trying everything they could to get him help. Right there, therapy and just trying to be a help to him. And that's when they kind of told him, hey, I think that they didn't tell him to do it, but they kind of brought it up, and he was like, all right, I think I should do this, and he did it himself. So yeah, it's unfortunate just what they had to go through, right? The worry and the worry.
Oh, you always worry.
Yeah,
you always when that phone rings.
Right. So my mom and my stepdad, you know, they had to live in that worry, and you know, for a long time, right? You don't know when you go to bed. You don't. If you wake up, you don't know if that's, you know, you're gonna find him, right? So, and unfortunately, that happened. So that's it's.
What do you mean they found him?
So he was in his bedroom. Yeah. So it was. They were asleep, and he used and unfortunately passed away. So they, you know, yeah. So it is. It's like nightmare type stuff. You know, you hear about it, and it was in the house, you know, and then to be his dad, to see that, it's got to be just incomprehensible. So when, you know, I got the call, and I was in, you know, Cranston, you know, I'm in my bed, right? It was the morning, and I shot up like a springboard, like just crazy. You know, you never think it could be the case. I mean, you know, I hate to say it, but sometimes you prepare for it because you kind of have to mentally prepare for it. You know, when you know of the struggles and what someone's going through. But yeah, that was awful.
Big brother, little brother, you?
Big
brother.
By a year.
Did he ever confide in you, like, help me?
No, he didn't, and I wish he did. He didn't because he knew that I think he would have been ashamed. He knew that I was not, you know, I didn't do any of that stuff, and obviously he knew that it's not something that was my, you know, I didn't dabble in any of that stuff. So I think he was a little embarrassed in that way, but I wish he did because I would have been so willing to help him because, you know, he's family, right? You know, no one should go through any of that alone, right? So I would have done anything for him. And that's why I do this, and that's why I do things like this to spread the message. But he didn't come to me. I think he would have felt a little weird about coming straight to me.
Yeah, that's part of the issue, you know, with the stigma and everything else. You know, you don't want anybody, you don't want to drag anybody into it. But you know, the problem is that when they go away and they're clean, they come back. They hang around with the same dudes. As when they left. And that is a problem. Because he gets sucked in again. Oh, come on. It's not going to hurt you. Right.
And unfortunately, a lot of the time, it's people that are also addicted. So they will do whatever
they can do to you know, to put them on. So you came up with an idea, and I love what you did. But we're going to talk about it when we come back.
Stsounds great.
Because we got to take a break. I got to pay the bills. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We're here with Sam Knox. There's a story to tell on the second half of the program. We'll be back after these messages.
Now, back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Sam Knox is in the house, and unfortunately, Sam lost his brother of an overdose just about a year ago. And Sam just started a foundation.
We did. In the nick of time.
And that's obviously named after your brother.
Yes, indeed.
So tell me about the foundation.
So the foundation, really, we wanted, me and my family, my stepdad Peter, my mom, Mary Kay, and some other directors and people, obviously other loved ones are and there's a lot of hands in it, which is great. But we're really just trying to end the stigma, you know, against the, you know, the negative, you know, the stigma around drug abuse and mental health, and how, you know, if someone is dealing with something like that, then they're a bad person. Like, you know, we're trying to end that stigma and really spread the word, because, you know, tragedies like this are preventable. You know, they can be prevented, and, you know, it's not easy, right? But especially to one that's dealing with the addiction. But we went through something that we don't wish upon anyone ever, and it was a nightmare. So now that Nick's physically gone, our only way forward is to do this, to help. Because if we didn't, then we wouldn't be keeping Nick alive in a way. We're keeping him alive by doing this. And there's people that I talk to, that I've interacted with, that Nick knew nothing about, but now they know Nick because of his story and because of what we're doing. So yeah, it's a nonprofit organization that is based out of Connecticut, Springfield, Mass, in that area. A lot of our events are going to start there, and hopefully bleed it into more of Massachusetts and Rhode Island. So we're really looking forward to our inaugural Nick Tashanis golf tournament on August 12th. And it's a foursome tournament, and there's going to be dinner. There's going to be people there, kind of just guest speakers, just trying to spread the message.
I give you a lot of credit. I give you a lot of credit because when something like this happens to a family, most families want to crawl in a hole. To put yourself out there, to be on this show today, and to tell people what happened to your family, that's a big step. It's a big step.
Thank you.
And you're not the only TV person that's had something like this happen.
Right.
I think of a few weeks ago where that golfer left the 16th hole.
Yeah.
And quit. Went home and committed suicide. The young girl golfer who came out just days after that and said she was not going to participate in all these tournaments because she was afraid to be alone again, week after week after week. So it's something that people have to realize, that there are problems, mental health problems.
Definitely.
You shouldn't criticize someone like the gymnastics girl when she quit,
right?
Simone Biles.
Yeah.
When she quit and she said, "That's it, no more. I need a break." It's not funny.
Right.
You got to put you in their shoes.
Yeah. Everyone has battles.
Everyone.
Yep.
Everyone. Sometimes, it's funny. I'm going to say it, but sometimes when I go home at night after dealing with this issue, day in and day out, I'm saying, how much longer can I go?
Yeah.
And it's not getting any better.
Right.
The overdoses are getting worse. You might get the BS from organizations saying, "Oh, well, the overdose thing is going downhill."
Right.
Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Now the alcohol's rising, and now we've got legalization of marijuana. Now we're going to have another drug that the General Assembly's talking about bringing into Rhode Island. I mean, enough is enough. I mean.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it, and I feel bad for young folks. But at least you have the capability and the know-how to put your family forward. This is what we're doing. Damn it, we're gonna do our part to stop it.
Right. Yeah, and if we can be a help to one family.
All we have to do is save one. I say that all the time. If I can save one person a day,
yep,
we're losing 2 or 3 a day.
Yep.
If I can save one, I'm doing my job.
Yep, absolutely, and that's important, to be a part of the recovery effort to this whole epidemic.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, it's affecting everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you a quick story. Probably about a year ago, I went to a funeral of a young boy who I tried to help, in and out of rehab, in and out. I went to the funeral home and saw his mother and father at the casket. And that image stuck in my head for a long, long time. And knowing that I tried to help this young boy, that got me.
Yeah.
And I'm always second guessing myself. Well, maybe I should have did this. Maybe I should have did that. But you know what? We're not going to be able to save everyone.
Right.
And we know that. We have to do our best to try to save one life at a time. Get the stigma away from this.
Yep.
because when the stigma goes away, more people get help. The issue of help right now is at a very, very fragile point. We don't have enough psychiatrists. We don't have enough primary care docs. We don't have enough beds in the state. Rhode Island. I don't know about Mass. But I can tell you, when I opened up the new website for the Leadership Council and we put bed availability on there, I get more clicks than ever before on the website. I used to get the phone calls, but now I don't get the phone calls because they go to the website. So everyone has to try to do their part,
Right.
you know, and try to nip this in the bud.
Yeah.
And I don't understand, like the drug dealers, you're making a drug that's killing your clients.
Right.
One at a time. And it doesn't mean if you're black, if you're white, if you're Puerto Rican, if you're Italian, if you're Jewish, it has no barriers.
Doesn't discriminate.
Has no barriers.
Doesn't matter if you're rich, poor,
Right.
whatever. You know,
Right.
it doesn't matter if you come from a good family.
Right.
Right? Because Nick came from a great family.
Yep.
And, you know, this is look where we are.
So what are your plans now? I know you want to have a golf tournament. Are your plans just to raise money, maybe help people get into treatment if they don't have insurance? What are the plans of the foundation?
I mean, you know, like we were saying, we just want to help. We just want to be a helping hand to families to raise money to spread that awareness of something that impacted us so closely and directly. So to continue to do that through this, through Nick's name, through golf events, through other events. We're not quite sure exactly yet, but this first one's good because he liked to golf, and you know, we're doing it close to home where a lot of his friends will be there. So there's so many.
I want to talk about that when we come back, about his friends.
Perfect. We can do that.
I'm going to take a quick break. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. In the nick of time, we'll be back after these messages.
Now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Mr. Sam Knox is in the house, and unfortunately, Sam lost his brother of an overdose just about a year ago. It started a new foundation called In the Nick of Time. So thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah, of
But
course.
I wanted to ask you one question before we end the show.
Yep.
His friends,
Yes.
did they bail out, or they're all helping you out?
They're all helping, and which is great. We have, you know, one of his close friends, Mason. There's Sean, Jack. There's a lot to name, but they've been so great. I mean, he got his. He played high school hockey. He got the locker room at the home rink named after him.
Wow.
And the outpour of alum that played with him and friends, family. There were so many people that were Nick's friends that came to that. So, and there's going to be a lot that are at the tournament. So there's so many people that have been so supportive of him and been there for him. And
Good. Maybe they'll see the light.
yeah,
Maybe
you
they'll see the
know,
light. Thank you for coming on today.
my pleasure.
And telling your story.
Thank you.
You know, so I'll support you 110%.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today at Recovery TV. My guest next week is Mr. Joe Pine and Marvin Mathis, two gentlemen who are in long-term recovery. Tune in, please. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the week.